called by name. Got purpose, got vision, I'll never be the same. Rise, stand tall, yeah, we claim our way. Brotherhood of Excellence Academy. Leading boys today. Brotherhood of Excellence Academy. I am strong, I'm brave, yeah, I'm called by name. Got purpose, got vision, I'll never be the same. Rise, stand tall, yeah, we claim our way. Brotherhood of Excellence Academy. Leading boys today. I am strong,
Welcome. My name is Dr. Shamika Smith, and I serve as the founder and the executive director of the Brotherhood of Excellence Academy, where we're on a mission of ending fatherless generations by preparing males for empowerment, entrepreneurship, enrollment, enlistment, and employment. Welcome to our podcast, Teaching Boys and Raising Sons. Today's episode is called Growth Mindset in Action, teaching boys to embrace the struggle. Again, growth mindset in action, teaching boys to embrace the struggle. Think about this. What if struggle wasn't a sign of failure, but actually it becomes a sign of growth? Today, we're going to talk briefly about how to help our boys see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to build strength, resiliency, and leadership. Let's look at this from a research perspective. Dr. Robert Marzano's work on growth-based teaching shows us that when students understand that intelligence is not fixed, their achievement increases. But here's the culture responsive piece. It says for boys of color, mindset works must be paired with identity affirmation. Again, this growth mindset work has to be paired with identity affirmation. If a boy thinks or believes that he's not a good math person or he's not a good reader, that's not just a mindset, that's also an identity issue. Dr. Muhammad, in her book Cultivating Genius, gives us a framework of how we begin to teach boys to address that issue of identity through both looking at identity and also looking at the skill set. So let's look at 3 ways to cultivate a growth mindset. First, normalize struggle. When a boy says this is hard, or I can't do this, or oh my goodness, this I'm not about to do this, or whatever, we suggest you respond with something like, it's not difficult. It just simply means that your brain is growing. Hard is where learning happens. So you want to use language that reinforce difficulties as progress. Number 2, celebrate efforts and strategies and not just outcomes. Think about it. They had to go through a process before they announced this is too hard. But when you start to encourage and celebrate the efforts and the strategies that they've already put in place, you're starting to allow them to see that they are smart. And they can try different things, and they've tried different solutions, or they've tried different strategies to get to the solution. And those things ought to be celebrated. At the same time, you're teaching them that the struggle that they're going through in terms of learning concepts or learning new ideas is a part of the process. Think about it. You can say something like, I see that you tried 3 different strategies before you found the one that works. And that's what leaders do. And then lastly, share stories of struggles and success. You want to highlight Black men and boys who have overcome obstacles. Think about your scientists or artists or authors, or entrepreneurs, or even your biblical characters, and let your boys see that struggle is a part of everyday success. Let's look at it from a leadership perspective. I want you to think about the butterfly. The struggle to break free from the cocoon is what strengthens the butterfly's wings. If you cut the cocoon open to quote unquote help the butterfly, it can't fly. Our boys need to struggle, not alone, but with, of course, support. That struggle builds leadership muscles that they will need in their future life, future leadership with their families, and also in their careers. So this week, my challenge to you, when your son or even your student faces a challenge, resist the urge to rescue Instead, ask them questions such as, what did you try? What could you do next? And how can I support you? Give him the agency to solve his own problems. And that's where he builds ownership and resiliency now, again, with your support. Let's look at it from a biblical perspective. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4 in the Voice translation says it this way. It says, don't run from tests or hardships, brothers and sisters. As difficult as they are, they will ultimately find joy in them. If you embrace them, your faith will blossom under pressure and teach you true patience as you endure. And true patience brought on by endurance will equip you to complete the long journey and cross the finish line, mature, complete, and wanting nothing. I think I'll read that again. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4 in the Voice translation says it this way. It says, don't run from tests or hardships, brothers and sisters. As difficult as they are, you will ultimately find joy in them. If you embrace them, your faith will blossom under pressure and teach you your true patience as you endure. And true patience, brought on by endurance, will equip you to complete the long journey and cross the finish line, mature, complete, and wanting nothing. It simply means struggle is part of God's design for growth. It simply means that God can trust you to go through the process because at the end of the day, He is building maturity. He is completing you so that you will ultimately want nothing. I close. Our boys don't need us to remove every obstacle. They need us to walk with them through the obstacles and remind them of their strength. Again, our boys don't need us to remove every obstacle. What they need us to do through that area of support is to walk them through the obstacles and remind them of their strength that's only found in the Word of God. Until next time, teaching boys and raising sons through empowerment, entrepreneurship, enrollment, enlistment, and employment. Take care.
I am strong, I am brave, yeah, I'm called by